Thursdays, our weekly check-in with our colleagues at Life.
There's a new restaurant at the Clan Hotel under the TungLok's group. Now, senior food correspondent Wong Ah Yoke is here with a quick review. Ah Yoke, not to give too much away, but your review is going to be out on the Sunday Times this weekend. How would you rate Chin restaurants apart from other restaurants under the same brand?
Yeah, Chin is part of the TungLok's group. I think a lot of people would know that TungLok is known for its traditional Chinese restaurants, mainly Cantonese restaurants. It has restaurants like TungLok's Signature, and there is TungLok's Sea Peking Duck, which specializes in the duck dish. But Chin is a little bit different. It's not modern. It's still a lot of Chinese cooking, but the chef is Western trained, so he uses a lot of Western techniques, and the presentation sometimes is very different from what you will find in a traditional Chinese restaurant. But when you eat the food, the taste is still very familiar. So he will have dishes like inspired by chili crab, Hainanese chicken rice, which we are all very familiar with, but it looks very different. But when you eat it, you do think of chicken rice. It tastes like chicken rice. And the chili crab, tastes like chili crab.
What are the top dishes that we absolutely have to try?
I tried a number of dishes, and I like almost all of them, but there are some that I will highlight for different reasons. There's one dish I like a lot called kurobuta, which is very, very good value. It's $38 for a huge pork rack, and the meat is very good too. I mean, kurobuta pork is a Japanese pork, very succulent, very flavorful. So that is one dish that I would definitely recommend. There's a mushroom tea, which is very interesting if you're into like Instagram videos and photos, because the tea is made with a coffee siphon. It's this glass contraption where you boil the water, and the water like gushes up into another glass beaker above where the coffee powder is. So instead of coffee powder, the chef puts in this sachet of mushroom powder. So the soup infuses with the mushroom flavor. You leave it for a minute or two to steep and gets infused. And then he pours it into a bowl of chawanmushi. So it's like a dish with egg custard and soup on top. It's really nice. And it makes fantastic photos. Then the other dish would be the chicken rice. It's called Hainanese. No rice, please. Because what looks like rice balls is actually made from barley. So when you eat it, there's a bit more bite, but it's cooked with chicken stock. So it tastes like chicken rice, which is like quite amazing. And then the chicken meat itself, he does it two ways. One is a roulade using Thai meat, and then the chicken breast, he flattens it out into like thin sheets, so it's not as dry as normal chicken breast is. So it's a very nice dish too. So these are the few dishes I definitely recommend.
Well, that sounds really delicious. Thanks so much, Ah Yoke. That was food correspondent Wong Ah Yoke. Now give Chin a try next time you're looking for a nice dinner spot. It's on the 5th level of the Clan Hotel on Cross Street.
And remember to check out Ah Yoke's piece in the Sunday Times.
Well, moving on, the 3rd edition of the Youth Music Awards is at the end of the month, and it celebrates the finest local young musicians. And here to share more is our music correspondent, Eddino Abdul Hadi. Hi, Dino. So 80 musicians will be vying for 16 awards. Your predictions, please. Who do you think will emerge the big winner on March 31st?
Album of the year, I would say I'm partial to Shai's Days to Morning Glory. Now Shai, she is only 17, 18. She's a very young talent who just came out of Singapore. And if you listen to an album, it's a fully fledged album for an artist who's so young and who just came out in a couple of years ago. And I'm very impressed for the album that was made in her bedroom. So I think my money would go for her to win Album of the Year. If you're thinking about like people who will win more than one awards, I'd say it's between Benjamin King, and Gentle Bones. Why do I say so? Well, obviously both of them have a huge following among the English pop music fans in Singapore, but also both of them are vying for Artist of the Year. But here's the thing, they have a duet out that's called Better With You. And it's also in the running for Single of the Year. So if that song wins, prizes goes to both of them. But Gentle Bones has a one-up on and Ben King. He has a song called Dear Me, which was also in the running for Single of the Year. So I think either of these two guys will come home with more than one awards that night.
Now, Dino, how far can this recognition go in helping a young musician's career or the local music scene in general?
The Youth Music Awards is fairly new. This is only the 3rd edition. It's still niche. I would say it's still niche. Singaporean musicians are still outnumbered by their international counterparts when it comes to the pop charts here. So, but what an award like this can do is it can give recognition to the achievements by our homegrown young musicians who are below 35. This award, I think, kind of looks forward to the future of music in Singapore. So right now, it might not be super mainstream. Your average mainstream music listener might not even recognize who Young Raja is, or Gentle Bones is, or Ben King is. But I think the hope is to build up such awards so that hopefully in 5-10 years' time, this will be a big deal. It will be as big as Mediacorp Star Awards. Something we can only hope.
Thanks, Dino. We've been speaking with Eddino Abdul Hadi, music correspondent for the Straits Times. Now, the Youth Music Awards, it's on March 31st at 7 p.m. and you can watch it online, including on Scape's Facebook page.
Well, sticking with the music element, Hamilton, the insanely popular Broadway musical that's won 11 Tony Awards, well, it's on Disney Plus right now. And actually, when I downloaded the app, it was one of the first things that I added to my must-watch list.
Well, journalist Jen Lee is here to tell us if musicals, but as you can see, Jen is actually outdoors right now because she's on a job. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Jen is here to tell us if musicals can be enjoyed on a streaming service as opposed to watching it live. Jen, we go to the theatre to watch a live performance. It's a unique experience compared with TV or film. So in making a live recording of a stage performance, with camera cards and different angles, will it work?
Yes, I've watched the whole of Hamilton on Disney Plus, and I actually thought it was a really good musical film because they did a lot of cuts, a lot of camera shots, close-ups that you wouldn't be able to enjoy if you were actually in the theater with them. Although being in the theater, of course, that would bring a sense of immediacy that you just can't get off a streaming service, right? But there are close-ups, there are closer angles. You can see very clearly how the stage is set up, how it moves. There's a very famous sequence in Hamilton, this song called Satisfied. So there's a part where they rewind the stage. So they rewind all the characters, they walk backwards, they move backwards, time is going backwards. And you can see the way the stage sort of moves in reverse, and it's just a very nice sequence to be able to see up close. So I think it brings a different element to your enjoyment. It makes you feel, I guess, you can see the details a lot closer.
Jen, countless Broadway hits especially, they eventually make their way to Singapore. I think Wicked, of course, is the most obvious example for me. So do you think we'll see this happening with Hamilton coming to our shows, of course, when the pandemic is over?
I mean, hopefully, I really, really hope it comes because it's a great musical. The great thing about Hamilton is, even though it is a story of American founding fathers, so it's a story entirely about white men, but it's a story that I think Lin-Manuel Miranda, who created the music for it, he always wanted to cast it with people of color. So it's Hispanics, Asians, African Americans. So it's very diverse and reflects the America of today. So I think it's very fresh and refreshing to watch. And it's just so fun that it's a musical. When you think of musicals, you think of things like Phantom of the Opera, so you tend to think of things that are a bit traditional and old-fashioned in that sense, loud booming music, slow operatic ballads, but this one is raps, it's hip-hop, it's very, very catchy tunes, and I just can't wait for it to come to Singapore. I really, really hope it does. I haven't heard anything about that yet because we're in a pandemic, and we haven't had live musical shows in a very long time. but hopefully post-pandemic we will be able to see it in Singapore.
Yep, fingers crossed. So in the meantime, of course, you can catch Hamilton on Disney+. Jan, thank you very much for making time for us. That was journalist Jan Lee.